Is the political kid, and I'm here today talking about why Marco Rubio would probably be the most electable candidate for the Republicans. Now, there's been a lot of topics going on whether Trump would actually try to go for a third term, or if JD Vance will run, or if Trump doesn't want JD Vance to run in 2028. And there's now a movement by a lot of moderate Republicans to get Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, to be the nominee since he ran in 2016 as a moderate candidate against Trump, and he's still considered a moderate Republican. And many people think that he's probably the most electable in this 2028. As we get closer to 2028, we need to like kind of say, hey, so what's the election going to look like? So yes, me and many others kind of just expected JD Vance to take the mantle as the next nominee. But then again, we must remember Vance wasn't Trump's VP back in 2016. He's only been vice president for not even 2 years now, but at the end of Trump's term, 4 years, and Kamala Harris had the same amount of time, and many people respectfully didn't think that she was experienced enough, and so they didn't vote for her. And that could be a problem since JD Vance is a young vice president, and he's also been a little bit against a lot of uh, Trump policies back in the day. And due to that kind of sentiment and the fact that many consider him unelectable due to his more like populist in a sense that he's kind of not really appealing to that many people as he was back in 2024 due to the fact that he's having to balance a lot of like loyalty to Trump but also like getting away from Trump when he does not so likable things like the war in Iran and how Vance kind of wanted to position himself to the media as the person who was kind of against it and advised Trump to maybe like de-escalate, but we don't really know if that actually was the case, and it might be just Vance trying to get the kind of popularity of many Republicans who were against the now Iran intervention. And due to this, many people say, hey, well, we have many Republicans who are not popular at all, and we need someone who's moderate, but also like tied with the administration. And hey, Marco Rubio does kind of fit that description. He is the Secretary of State. He's basically the most powerful secretary in the executive office. And due to that fact, he has a lot of power due to the fact that he's the main guy, where he goes to other embassies and talks and negotiates, and he has a lot of political sway due to the fact that he's also a moderate, and he's been a political candidate for almost 12 years, for a decade now. And basically, many Republicans are like, hey, maybe Vance could run as the vice president under Rubio. I mean, it has happened before, technically, and it's not like hard to say that Vance might want to go for another term as VP under a Rubio possible administration if they're able to be more electable in 2028. Now, Rubio is still going to be unlikable to Democrats since he's, well, still a Republican. So there's not really a lot of things they could do there. However, Marco Rubio is the son of immigrants from Cuba, and he's a Latino. And um, Republicans have been getting more of the Latino vote lately, but due to the unpopularity of Donald Trump and kind of that recently, there's been a shift of Latinos like slowly shifting back to the Democratic Party, and they might want to nominate a Latino to kind of say, hey, we do understand your struggles, and we're going to nominate this guy for you, which is kind of a weird. I mean, it's just trying to appeal to people which is a bad thing, but it works if it works, you know? So it's just a political ploy to get to Latinos, but hey, political ploys are going to be happening every single election cycle. Whether it's Democrats trying to sway black voters or Republicans trying to get more white nationalist voters, it's going to happen. So it's just another way that Republicans could be more likely to get nominated. However, I feel like the biggest issue is that Rubio is kind of considered a pre-Trump kind of remnant of a mixed version of neocons and the new Trump neocons. Because if you look at those George Bush, Mitt Romney types, he kind of does fit those descriptions. However, he's more moderate on domestic issues. He's more conservative when it comes to foreign issues. And because back in 2014, when the Republicans lost, they said, hey, our economic policy wasn't wrong, but maybe it's our social policy that was wrong after Mitt Romney lost. And they tried to implement this new strategy, but then Trump went along and won the nomination. And Marco Rubio was kind of a baby of that kind of policy back in the 2010s. And he's still a remnant of those very old Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney conservatives, you know what I'm talking about? And due to that fact, many loyal Republicans will probably not be that excited for him, and maybe a Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance ticket could also sway a lot of populists to actually vote and nominate that for that part or for that candidate and for that ticket. So in this way, Marco Rubio could be considered an electable candidate, but he has his issues of his own, especially since he's tried to take credit for a lot, since many Democrats joke that he's got a lot of jobs that he takes credit for, and even if it's other people do that. And that could be a thing that could hurt him. But then again, that also kind of shows how he's willing to take a lot of responsibility to help the administration with a lot of issues. So that could really help Republicans win in 2028 when they kind of want to keep their position of maybe not a trifecta, since the Democrats will probably win the House in 2026 and maybe 2028, but just a Republican executive office and maybe a Senate a Senate of Republicans, and maybe they could keep that going with Marco Rubio, and that's gonna be it. The primaries are it's far from here, and I think the earliest a candidate from either political party will actually run for the presidency will probably be in early 2027, which is a crazy thing to think about. Like, we're already talking about 2027, even though it's March of 2026. But hey, I mean, that's happened across a lot of elections, so that'll be an interesting time to see all those primaries and people running for candidates. So hey, I also have a mission to interview a lot of political candidates for the 2028 election and see if they're actually supportive of more measures to help younger people like me get involved in politics more. So that's going to be it, guys. As always, I'm really supportive of y'all. Happy Sunday, and I'm trying to produce more videos, but I promise, and I really promise, I will get higher quality videos when I get an editor. So thank you all for supporting me, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.